first of all, can you bring us up to date with Danny Pugh? Just something wasn't mentioned at the press conference. What role is he going to have at the football club now?
Danny's assistant. Danny's assisting me. Billy Painter's assisting me as well. He stepped up from the youth team. So I'll be working with those boys, assessing not just the coaching staff, but assessing everything in the football club over the coming weeks. 11 weeks left of the season, and changes if necessary as we work along the way. So yeah, no problem. Danny's done a great job while he's been interim manager. By his own words, he's not quite ready, but I'm they're here to support me and what I'm after. And to be fair, last few days have been very positive.
There's a lot of managers when they come into a club, I think, like to bring in their own staff, but you got full confidence in those two, I imagine, and that was part
like I
of the
said, Robin,
discussion.
it'll be assessed. Listen, I'm an honest guy. I'm straight down the line guy. It'll be assessed over the period. For me, the job has to be done right. Coaches, I've worked with many assistants and coaches, and they ain't all been people that I've known. Marcus Stewart, Brian Dutton. When I've joined football clubs or gone into football clubs, I've had the coaching staffs there, and I think what you have to do then as a manager, you have to assess the people that's actually in the building, because they might be better than what you've actually worked with. Okay, so might be in the word to maybe use, and that'll be assessed going forward. So it's not always, for me, it's not always a case of bringing in people that that you've worked with. It's about getting the right people for the right job, and that's what I'll be assessing. Not just obviously coaching staff, but players as well.
How have you found your first week?
Hectic, very, very hectic. Whirlwind. It's the first time I've joined a club, I think, through the middle of the back end of the season, shall we say, with 11 weeks to go. So obviously I knew plenty about the squad, as in having managed against them, and obviously quite a few senior boys in the squad. So managed against individual players that we've got for quite a few times. So the knowledge of the squad is decent, not too bad. Obviously, I don't know every single one of them, but the training, the intensity of the training has been very good, which I'd expect, if I'm honest with you, with a new manager and everybody starting with a clean slate. So I'd expect that. But it's been positive, but a bit of a whirlwind.
What are you much closer, do you think? You say you knew a lot about the squad coming in. How do you feel now about sort of where the strengths and weaknesses of the team might be? Have you spotted some of those in the few days you've had?
I'm good, Robin, but I'm not that good. I'll be working along the way. Do you know what I mean? I'll, like I said, it's an assessing period. They start with a clean slate, but the squad's very, very, very big, if I'm honest with you. It's a big squad. There's a lot of players. There's shall we say, the squad's been recruited for one formation, to be honest with you. Having a look, which is fine. That's other managers' perspective of how they want to build their squad, and the right or wrong to that is in football results. So just like assessing all those bits and pieces in the squad, and it's going to take a bit of time. Like I said, I'm good, but I'm not that good to know everyone's strengths and weaknesses. And what you got to realise is that how many footballers are out there that have good spells and bad spells. They're all the way through the top level and all the way through the lower leagues as well. So just because somebody maybe not been hitting their highs as individuals doesn't mean that they're not going to hit them now, does it? So that's why I start with a clean slate, not interested in what's gone on in the past. And that's the way we move forward, albeit with a squad of 30 plus. I can only ever pick 11 starters and 7 subs.
I imagine one of your jobs then between now and the end of the season is to also plan ahead to next season in that way and look at the squad size then.
It is, Robin, which I'm doing. Obviously there'll be a lot of doing that in the background, but the fact of the matter is it's about getting results as a football manager to start off with. I want to start off quite well, obviously. So getting the two balances is going to be key. My focus, certainly the back end of this week, is to try and beat Leyton Orient, working on one or two things, obviously on the training ground, while assessing everything.
Last season, obviously the team had a really successful time, not gone quite that well this year. one of the interesting things you said there was about players perhaps having a good spell and then a bad spell. So how much is your job perhaps trying to get the best out of some of these players who have proven at the club that they have done it, but are maybe just going through a difficult time in the last few months?
Your job as manager is always to get the best out of players. It's got to come within from the player as well. Like I said, the intensity training has been very good, which you'd expect. It's got to come from within. But my job as a manager is to get the best out of them. And there's a lot of players that are out of contract at the club in the summer. They'll know that it's not a good time to be out of contract as a footballer with the financial predicament the game's been under with the COVID pandemic. So a lot of players there also know the futures are on the line, which is understandable, and maximum effort. Let's try and get as many points as we possibly can in these last 18 games. And like I said to the players, see if you're going to be part of that journey. Do you want to be part of that journey? Do you want to be here to help move the club forward, or are you going to fall by the wayside? And then the proof's always in the pudding, isn't it?
Absolutely. And Leyton Orient be a tough first test, and strange for a new manager, of course, behind closed doors. I know you've had it already this season, but it must be strange starting at a new club and not having that connection with the fans on your first game.
Yeah, no, certainly. The Port Vale fans are a very passionate group. Most fans at this level are, but it's a club that's, shall we say, underachieving, to be honest with you, the size of the club. And there's that urgency to get things moving forward in the right direction. A little bit unfortunate. I think the club would have made the top 7 last year. Whether they'd have gone up or not, I don't know. But I think they would have made the top 7. But obviously things haven't gone so well this year. And we're going to work to try and get that moving. Me, David and the owners on the right path of moving forward. But like I said, it sometimes takes a little bit of time, but we're hoping to hit the ground running.
Fantastic. Thanks, Darrell.
Thanks, Robin.
Morning, Darrell. Mike from the Sentinel. How are you doing?
Morning, Mike. You're right, mate.
Yeah. I'm fine,
Mike there. Sorry. Yeah, Mike. Yeah, morning, Mike. Yeah. Sorry.
Darrell, I just wanted to, what's been your message to the players since coming in this week?
Show me what you've got. Clean slate. Show me what you got. Obviously, the squad on paper here is better than the squad I've just left, in my opinion. It's a lot more experienced. There's a lot more. The players played a lot more league minutes. It's very much a development team at Walsall. I think, had 7, 18, 19-year-old players here. The squad's that big. You've got 1 or 2 players that aren't even in the 22 squad that you're allowed to pick, if that makes sense. Yep. So the message has been, show me what you've got. Like I said, it's a big squad, so players have got to realise that when they will realise with me is that opportunities might be limited, so make sure when you get that opportunity, take it, because I want to be looking at things but also be getting results along the way. So the pressure's on myself always to perform and to win games. I get that as a manager, but it's also on my players to make sure they understand that. And like I said, the intensity, the work rate, as you'd expect as a new manager coming in, has been fantastic on the training pitch. These teams are good team spirit amongst the group. And so they are eager to impress, and that means we'll get plenty of points on the board from now to the end of the season.
Excellent. You mentioned the squad size there. Do you generally work with a smaller squad than you've got at the moment, though?
So this is the biggest squad I've worked with, to be honest with you, potentially as in a first team squad. If I'm honest with you, I think like again, Mike, that needs to be assessed. Like I said before, the squad. And this is not me having a dig because I'm not that sort of manager, but the squad's been very much recruited for one system, in my opinion. And, so the players are going to have to show me a bit adaptable because I don't always work within one system. So the players are going to have to adapt to that, and I'll have to have a look at that. I don't want to make silly, ridiculous changes. If you understand that, Mike, but we do want to tweak 1 or 2 things. And I think that hopefully that freshness or something a little bit different freshens the players up a little bit as well.
I was going to say, is this a chance for you now to sort of experiment for next season, or can't you afford to do that?
I don't think we're at that stage, Mike. I've got to be careful. I want to win football games and win results, and I'll be looking at each game as I always have as a manager as a different project without frying the players. I class myself the attention to detail on the training grounds. I class myself that's one of my big strengths, to making sure we get that right, that the players know exactly what's expected of them in and out, possession of the ball, and all the bits and pieces that go with that to win a football game.
Okay, I appreciate you might not want to comment on individual players, but Leon Lake hasn't been in the side for the last few weeks. Sort of speculation about that might be because of his contract. I just wondered, what can you tell us about that? And have you had a chat with Leon?
I can just tell you about Leggy. Obviously, I know about Leggy. Played against him. Managed against him when he's been at other teams. He's a model pro for me. I've had a brief chat with Leggy. We we know where we sort of stand. I've been more continuing conversations I have with him, but I have respect for the experienced players within the group. You know, they've had decent careers. They want to stay in the game, but Leggy will be assessed as any other player is in the squad and working away, working forward. Obviously, if there's one or two issues which I do know about, the issues that I do know about, which I'm not going to go into detail and in publicity, but in the public domain, shall we say? But we'll try and work around those things, because, like I said, Leggy, all I've known him as a model professional, and certainly in the last few days, you know, his attitude, as all the other players, has been excellent.